All right, guys. So this is Miss Abby, and she and I spoke on the Success Club trip, and we had talked that we liked each other so much that we would speak on each other's team calls because we both have different things to offer and that we can provide for our teams. And I feel like we can grow and learn from each other. So she agreed to, she had actually reached out to me and asked me to do a team call for her. And so I said, yes, but will you return the favor? She said, of course. So she's doing ours tonight, and then I'm doing hers tomorrow. So get to hear from Abby. I'm going to mute myself.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you froze, so I wasn't sure. Sorry. All right. Thank you all so much for hopping on. I'm really excited to talk to you guys tonight. I'm going to talk to you about like leveling up your mindset, because honestly, that's what was changing my mindset was what changed everything for me in growing a business. And I'm just going to share like a small part of my story because I've been coaching now for, it'll be 9 years at the end of this month. So I've been a coach what feels like forever. And I still absolutely love it. So super quick, like before Beachbody, I was working for my dad's roofing company. I was teaching group fitness classes. My kids were obviously a lot younger 9 years ago. Now they're teenagers. They're 16 and 13. And I was 30 pounds heavier. I struggled with insecurity. And I was looking for something more because I love my dad, but I hated working for him, working for his company. I just didn't like what I did. I had a long commute. I would bring the kids to work with me. Like I was just stressed out all the time. And I got into Beachbody with P90X, and then a year later I heard about Shakeology, and then I signed up for the discount. I went Emerald right away. And I remember back in 2010 when I signed up, Christina Solons having like these calls being like, because I was going fast, right out of the gate. I was going fast. And I remember her making a comment once on a call, like, oh, Abby's going to be our next diamond. She's going to be the next diamond. I didn't go diamond for 4 years. Like, so I think like the pressure hit me, and I always struggled with insecurity, negative self-thoughts, and just like speaking that over myself. And I feel like the minute that happened, I was just like, oh, no, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not, how can you lead a team? How can you do any of these things? And I started just to kind of spiral a little bit and stopped doing the things, stopped working my business. I never lost my Emerald. I continue to make money every year and bring coaches onto my team and do all of those things. This was like before challenge groups and all of that, before challenge packs, before a lot of things. But I continued to stay in the business. And one of the biggest things, and this was a game changer for me, was they talked about, like we do now, personal development. And it was just do personal development. And I fell in love with Chalene Johnson. And back then she had what was called Car Smarts. And there were these 12 CDs, and I would just so I had like a 45-minute commute to work. I would just listen to them over and over. I probably listened to each one like 50 times. And my mindset started shifting. I was also listening to Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, and just anything that I could get my hands on. I would listen to, and I didn't listen once. I listened over and over and over again. And over those 4 years that it took me to go diamond, my mindset started shifting, but I didn't even really realize it was shifting. I still had the thoughts of, I can't do this. But I also struggled not only with negative self-talk, I struggled with shyness. I was like the wallflower, and everybody that would come into contact with me would think I was kind of, bitchy, just because like I didn't talk. If you asked me a question, I would give like a one-word answer. I couldn't start a conversation with people. I seriously struggled, and I know it sounds really silly because even when I talk about it, I'm like, I can't believe like I struggled with that, but I had struggled with it my whole entire life. So when I was doing all that, I was also learning business skill sets because I was listening to like Craig Holiday CDs and different things. So my mindset shifted. And in 2013, I went to a Danny Johnson conference, and something shifted inside of me, but it still took me a year to go diamond. But I immediately went 1 star, and then the following year went 5-star and hit elite. And I have 7 lifetime diamonds. And like I said, I'm a Success Club legend. I've been doing this for a long time. And so I think for anyone, where you want to go in this business is possible, but it has something has to shift inside of you. And it's usually like a 1-degree shift, and it's in your mindset. And when we believe that we can do this is when everything changes. And just something had happened, and I was just almost sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of going to events and sitting by myself and wanting a team around me and seeing like other people with their teams, and I wanted that. And I wanted to grow something, and I knew that I was made for something more, and I saw the potential in it. And I remember just being like, just enough already. So anyways, it starts with a decision. Wherever you want to go, it starts with a decision. And so I'm going to tell you guys a short little story, and I promise just stick with me because I'm going somewhere with it. But this actually has to do with marriage. And then I'm going to link it all to mindset, I promise. And then I'm going to give you guys five things on shifting your mindset. So back in, I don't know, maybe like 8-9 years ago, me and my husband, we got this book called The Love Dare. Have you guys heard of The Love Dare? So it's like, if you haven't, it's a 40-day like devotional, almost like journey together to strengthen your marriage. And this July, I'll be married 19 years. So I've been married a really long time. And if you've been married any length of time, you know marriage is this. It goes up and down, up and down. So over the last like 8 years since we've got the Love Dare, we've done it a few times. Sometimes together, sometimes I've just done it or he's just done it. It doesn't mean our marriage had to be in like crisis. It was just, we felt disconnected. We would commit to doing this Love Dare and sit and read it once a day for 40 days. So one of the days in there is a passage that talks about these corridors inside of our heart. And so it talks about how if you go down the corridor of your heart, there's a door. And one door is the appreciation room. And that's like all the initial stages of your relationship. That's like all the things that you like fell in love with your spouse for. It's like all of the good qualities about them, everything that's good, all the fun memories, all the things that you like, why you married them, right? But also down that same corridor is another door. And in that room is the depreciation room. And in that room, that's where we hold on to, or we can find our frustrations and our hurt feelings and our disappointments and our unmet expectations and our past arguments and the things that irritate us. Like sometimes when my husband chews, it irritates me. Like how many, like you have stuff, right, that irritates you. And if you live, you start, and when you're in that room, you're starting to think things like, why did I marry this person? Or he's such a jerk, or I'm married to the wrong person. And it talked about how in that room is where divorces are plotted. So love knows, so in marriage, love knows about the depreciation room and knows it exists, but love chooses to live and exist in the appreciation room. Because we know that if we live in this room where we're thinking about all of the crappy things, how many of you guys who've been married have like spiraled before where you're like, for days or weeks, you're like, everything is irritating me. And then you start thinking about past arguments and past things. And if we stay there, our relationship goes on to a decline. So what does this have to do with Beachbody, right? You're like, what does that do? So when I read that many times over the years, what really stuck with me was that we kind of have the same thing, but with our thoughts. So think about it this way. In our mind is a corridor, and there's one door. It's an appreciation room for our business, right? And in that room, we have all the positive self-talk. We know our self-worth. We can positively critique ourselves. We're teachable. That's where our belief and our dreams and our goals and our vision and all of the fun things, like when we think about like all the fun times we have with our team at Summit or at Super Saturday or team get-togethers, it's all the reasons why. It's like every message that we've gotten from a challenger that said, I'm down 10 pounds, or I dropped a jean size, or I feel like, think about how amazing that makes you feel, right? When a challenger messages you and you're like, oh, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I want to help people and I want to pay it forward. So that's the appreciation room of our mind when it comes to our business. But there's a depreciation room in our mind when it comes to this business. And that's where we have all the negative self-talk. we have all of the fear, all of the doubt, all of the frustrations, all of the regrets of things that we did do or we didn't do. That's where the comparison game lives. That's where jealousy and envy and disappointment and unmet goals live. That's when we start saying things like, I'm not good enough. I'll never figure this out. No one's going to take me seriously. I'm going to be judged, or they're talking about me, or this is too hard, or I'm just too busy, or I just can't do this. So I know that we've all been in both rooms in our business. And the positive and right mindset is knowing that that depreciation room exists in our minds, but choosing and recognizing it and choosing to live in the appreciation room. Because if we choose to live in the depreciation room, I've been coaching now 9 years. I've had coaches come and go in my organization, and I'm telling you, everyone that goes, it's because they allowed themselves to live in the depreciation room. Bottom line. They let all the negative self-talk happen. They let, just one person saying something negative to them to spiral them down into giving up on their dreams and giving up on their goals and giving up on their vision. And all the coaches that have stuck it out and are doing amazing things are the ones that, they head into that depreciation room with their mindset, but they can recognize it and they step out of it and they dig back into their why and they go back to what their goals are and they go back to what their vision is and why they're actually doing this business. And so with that being said, there are 5 ways for us to live in the appreciation room of our minds. And I'm going to share those with you. And to be honest with you, these are all super simple things. And this business is super simple. The thing is it's not easy. None of these things are easy to do. So the first one is commit to daily personal development. And I know you hear that over and over again, but are you doing it? Every time I've spiraled a little bit in my business, it's because I stopped putting personal development first. And every time that my business is doing amazing is when I'm truly committed to personal development. And it's also recognizing and knowing, am I just going through the motions, or am I actually really hearing and digesting and then applying and taking action with what I'm learning? Because I have coaches, ladies, who do personal development every single day, and they can teach to anyone, but they're not applying anything that they're learning to their own life. So take time and really ask yourself, am I really applying everything that I'm learning? And the things that you know that you need to work on, you need to listen to those audiobooks or read those books over and over and over and over again, like I did with Car Smarts, until the way that author or podcaster is talking is the way you start thinking. And until you start shifting that mindset, and make sure that you are just not giving up on it, because honestly, it's the first thing that we usually let go. We'll drink our shake and we'll do our workout and we'll check in with our challengers and we'll scroll social media and do a post and all the things. But if we're busy, we let personal development go. But to be honest with you, that should be the very, very first thing. Which gets to number 2 is starting your day with intention. How your morning starts is how your whole day starts. And I read Miracle Morning years ago, and if you haven't read that one, I really encourage you to read it. But it's starting your day not just with yes, you should, with your fitness and your shake and all of those things, but starting it with affirmations. Starting it with, I, for years now, have been writing out 3 things that I'm grateful for every day. I meant to grab the book, but I got it on Amazon. And if you just type in gratitude journal, it's the first one that pops up. It's black and it has flowers on it. And all it is just, so when you open it up, there's 7 days and you just write the date and there's 3 lines and you just write 3 things that you're thankful or grateful for. I do it every morning and I think back on the day before. So it's not about just writing general things. I think back on the day before and what happened that I saw a blessing from, or that I was thankful for or grateful for. And then also one task I want to give you guys to do, so just like jot a note, and don't do it now, but I want you to take a sheet of paper out sometime this week, and I want you to write out, no one's going to see this but you, all of the negative talk things that you say to yourself. All of the ones that you hear on repeat in your head that you would never let someone say to you, and that you would never say to someone else, but you know that they're on repeat in your own head. And I want you to write them out, and then leave a space underneath it, and then write out the next one, and so on and so forth. And then I want you to cross it out and write the opposite of that. So if you're telling yourself all the time, I'm fat, I can never get in shape. So let's be honest, we don't say it nicely to ourselves. We call ourselves fat, right? And we don't feel good. We don't say it in a nice way. Writing down, I am a work in progress. I am working towards my health and fitness goals. I am strong, whatever it may be. If you're always telling yourself that you're not good enough, writing down, I am worthy. I am worth whatever it is that you don't think that you're worth. If you look in the mirror and don't think that you're beautiful, because you are, we are all beautiful, telling yourself, crossing off that I am ugly, or whatever, and saying, I am beautiful. So that's a task I'd like you guys to do. And then take your affirmations. Those are your affirmations. And saying them out loud every single day. So this takes like a minute, and you can read them over, and eventually you'll learn them. And then eventually you could just do it when you're taking a shower or putting on your makeup. But saying them out loud solidifies them. So saying them out loud. Another thing is, some people do this daily. And I know now with like, did you guys all read like Girl Wash Your Face or Girl Stop Apologizing, follow Rachel Hollis? I know she has I don't have it, but her Start Today journal. And she talks about how she writes out 3 things she's thankful for in her 10 goals every day. I've been for years writing out my 10 goals every Monday. So, and I think how she does it is like long-term, like what are your 10 crazy big goals? I do my 10 yearly goals. So I don't think there's any right or wrong way. You just do what works best for you. But whether you do that every single day or you do it once a week. But what I was finding was that years ago, I would write out my goals, and I would write them out once a year. Well, you write out your goals once a year, they're not in front of you, you forget about them. Writing them out, whether it's weekly or daily, it keeps them in front of you. And what I do is I don't look back at the week before. I just sit down and I'm like, all right, so what do I want to achieve in the next 12 months? And I write it out. And when I start looking back a couple months, I've been achieving things. And that's why I'm not writing them anymore. So keeping that in front of you. And I love that you guys are doing I'm like obsessed with Rachel Hollis. Like every time I listen to her, I'm just like, she's just absolutely amazing. But I did start with Miracle Morning quite a few years ago by Hal Elrod. And that book seriously is amazing. And it really is just about how you start your day is how you live your day. And another thing he said in there that really stuck with me was a Jim Rohn quote. And it was like, where you are today is an accumulation of your personal development. So if you want to get further along in your business, in your life, in whatever, you need to up your personal development. And that really stuck with me, that like basically how to start my day, and that from that book were like my 2 like huge takeaways. Number 3 is you are who you surround yourself with. So we've all heard we are the sum total of the top 5 people we spend time with. But what I want to talk to you guys about is like, who do you vent to? Really stop and think about who you vent to. Because if you're venting to someone about your business that says to you, should you really still be coaching? Like if it's bothering you this much? I can remember having a conversation with my aunt probably 2 or 3 years into the business. And I was like telling her like how I had all these goals but I just wasn't whatever. And she was just like, well, maybe you should look into doing something else. Like maybe you shouldn't be a coach. And I remember being like so mad, but what if my mindset wasn't already shifting, right? And what if I went down that path and started thinking those thoughts like, oh, well, she doesn't think I should be a coach because I haven't hit it by now, which was like 2 or 3 years in. Maybe I shouldn't be a coach. So when we all have times when we're frustrated. A coach upsets us, a challenger like returns something happens, we didn't hit a big goal that we set, or even a small goal that we set, or we missed Success Club, or whatever it may be, right? When that happens, who are you going to vent to? Because you want to vent to the person that says, oh, Jennifer, that sucks that happened, but I know that this is your why. I know that these are your goals. I see this in you. I'm a firm believer of speaking greatness into your coaches over and over and over and over again. We don't, when we come into this business, we have, even if we don't normally have negative self-talk or really poor self-talk like I did years ago, we still have a lot of doubt. So it's recognizing qualities in them and speaking it into them every single time that you talk to them. And then also, are you showing up every day? Are you allowing yourself to skip calls and not listen to the national wake-up call and make excuses as to why Super Saturday is not important or Summit's not important? Here's the thing. If you're serious about the business, you make those a non-negotiable. There came a time in my business where I just said, I like drew a line and I'm like, I'm making myself go to every event. I have 2 kids. My husband's a police officer and works crazy hours and his days are always different. I have missed baseball tournaments and soccer tournaments and different things. But my kids know my business goals and my dreams, and they know that it's for a day. So I've never missed a Super Saturday, even when my son has had like a tournament or my daughter's had something. But guess what? I'm at every single other one. I make those a priority, and I get that Paul's working, the kids carpool with someone else. I figure it out. So many of us are just not treating this. We want a salary. We don't want to just make pocket change in this business. We want a salary, but we're not treating this business like a business. And if you worked for a company and they said to you, we have a conference this weekend, you're going to the conference and you're going to figure out your family stuff. But for some reason, when it comes to Beachbody, we say, no, I'm treating it like a business. But when it comes to live events, when it comes to calls, we say, oh, my family has this, or oh, whatever. And I'm a firm believer in family first. The only Super Saturday I ever missed since I took my business serious in 2013 was this past October. And it's because it fell on my daughter's 13th birthday. So her 13th birthday, I'm going to wake up and be with her on her 13th birthday. But I've missed so many other things. A 13th birthday never happens again. Your kids are going to have another baseball game, another hockey game, another swim meet, another something, and you can make it to every single other one. I'm like so passionate about that, because what I notice is that coaches, I've seen both sides of like from one coach where they'll get into the business and they'll go to everything and they make things work for their family. And then when they start slowly stepping away from the business, all of a sudden it's like, oh, my daughter has a volleyball game, or, oh, so they have every excuse. And I've seen it the other way where they made excuses for every single call, every single event. And the minute they took their business serious, they never missed anything. So show up to everything. All right. Number 4 is be honest and real about where you're at, and then commit to that. So what do I mean by that? So often we say we want one thing. So we say we want a 6-figure income. We say we want to be at a certain level, but we're only willing to put in 30 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days a week. 30 minutes a day or even an hour a day, 5 days a week is not going to build you a 6-figure income. It's just not. Like, period. So if all you have, all you're willing to give is X amount of hours, whether that's an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 5 hours a day, whatever that is, just know what the result of that's going to be. And that's something that you can connect in with your diamond or star diamond upline and talk to them about, saying like, this is where This is what I'm willing to give. Realistically, what can I build with this? Because the coaches that you're seeing that are like going diamond in 90 days and a 6-figure income in 2 years and all of that, they are not working an hour a day. So what happens is we start comparing ourselves. We're like, well, I've been in the business for a year and I only have a couple of coaches and I sometimes hit Success Club and sometimes I don't. But that girl's been in the business for a year and I see her social media and she's like crushing it and she's a 5-star diamond. Like, and then we start having all of this, that negative self-talk start happening. So we have to be real about what we're willing to put into this. And it's also that, like, you've heard the saying, don't just talk the talk, but walk the walk. So often we say we're going to do X, Y, and Z, but we're not actually doing it. So are you really showing up? And then knowing that it takes a year to position yourself on social media and in your circle of influence as the go-to health and fitness person. So that when Susie wants to get fit, she doesn't think, oh, I'm going to go join LA Fitness and Weight Watchers. She thinks, oh, I've seen Andrea like posting about all of this stuff for the last 6 months or a year or whatever. I'm going to reach out to her because she's getting results. But it takes a year to position yourself as that. And when I say a year, I don't mean like a fake year. And what I mean by a fake year is I've had coaches who have been in the business, say, for 3 months or a year, whatever. Let's take a year. And they say, well, I've been here a year and I'm still struggling to find people. And, I feel like people still don't come to me and all of that. But if you take a step and you look back at that year, those coaches did not work the whole year through. When I say it takes you a year, it takes you a whole year of being consistent, of showing up every single day on social media, of showing up to your business, of showing up in your challenge group, of running a paid and a free challenge group every single month, of inviting to a coaching event every single month, of adding to your network every single day, following up with people, sending connection messages, inviting to your groups. It's not going to happen if you don't put the work in. So when I say a year, so that's whether you want to work like an hour to 2 hours a day and be a hobby coach, or you want to work 5 to 8 hours a day and be a full-time coach. Wherever you're at, your results are going to come from a year of being consistent with that. And then ask yourself, am I going to be here not just a year from today? Because I hear that way too much where people are like, are you going to be here a year from today? No, ask yourself, am I going to be here 10 years from today? And if you're not going to be here 10 years from today, like, this is said in the most loving way, like, why are you even on this call? Right? Like, either you're all in or you're just half in, and you'll slowly end up fading away. So you want to level up that mindset so that you stay all in, not just in your thoughts, but in your actions. And one more thought on that. I mentioned stop comparing, but I think so many of us get caught up in comparing. One, stop following other coaches. Just stop. I'm like, just enough. You should, obviously, your own coaches and your upline and maybe 1 or 2 that inspire you, but your feed should not be coaches. Your feed should be your prospects. So if your feed is coaches, you need to start unfollowing coaches. Last one, I'm almost done, I promise, is accountability. Having a success partner or an accountability partner. And so often we think that it's not important, but it really is. But it needs to be somebody that, one, if you don't have one, you need to get one like this week. So connect with your Diamond or Star Diamond upline and let them know that you're looking for one. They could more than likely pair you up with somebody. But it needs to be somebody that you could be real with, but not somebody that you're going to have a vent fest with. So what I find often is that these coaches, they'll partner up and someone's having a bad day, and it's kind of like that whole thing of who you surround yourself with, right? If your success partner and you are just getting on and complaining, you need a new success partner. You need someone who's going to help you level up. If your success partner and you are getting on and chatting life more than you're chatting business, you need a new success partner. That's an awesome friend. Keep them as a friend, but they're not a success partner. You need someone who's going to make you level up. You need someone where you're like, I'm going to invite 5 people to the coaching event that's next week. And they say, no, Carrie, you need to invite 7. Just that pushes you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, right? So make sure that it's somebody that's going to challenge you and who's going to speak greatness into you. And that's going to, one, be respectful of your time. You shouldn't be on like some hour-long Zoom with a success partner. You should be working your business. If you have an hour, be working your business or doing a power hour together, something like that. And then also don't be afraid to change it up. You're not married to your success partner. If it's not a good fit, this is your business. So if it's not a good fit, it's about finding somebody else. And I always recommend my coaches to commit to partnering up for 30 days. And then after 30 days, reevaluating. And I'll always say, don't be offended if you want to keep this and the other person doesn't. Because you want to find the right fit for you so that you can reach your business goals. It really is that important. I know I do. I see it at the top. But that was my 5th and final one. So what I want to ask you, this is my call to action for you guys, is 1, what room do you feel that you're spending the most time in? And which of the 5 steps, whether it's one of them or all of them, do you need to start taking action on today? So what I want you to do is kind of brainstorm that out. Where are you at? And then I want you to message your diamond or your star diamond upline with where you're at so that they can help keep you accountable. If you're saying, hey, I need a success partner, now's the time to let them know. If you're saying like, this is how many hours I'm willing to give in a week. And really quick, ladies, because I know I'm running out of time. When I say how many hours you want to give a week, I don't mean hours scrolling social media or watching a bunch of, getting caught up in stories or other people's trainings. Yes, trainings are good. I mean, when I'm talking about work hours, at least like 75% of your work hours should be doing your power hour, adding to your network, inviting, connecting, following up. The rest of it is content for challenge groups and connecting in with your coaches and messaging your challengers and connecting in with them. So that is what I mean by work hours. But that's all I have for you guys, and I'm sorry we really have no time really for questions. 2 minutes.
That was awesome, Abby. I love that. I love the part about, I think it's huge to put on blinders and not be following what everyone else is doing. You have to be you and you have to be authentic, which ties into that being real and being honest with you. And I love that you spoke to that. So does anyone have questions for Abby real quick? Yes.
No, I remember you from my first coach camp when you went elite.
Oh, yes.
Super cute, like pencil skirt. Well, and so you did a talk about like how you recruited and stuff and doing clean eating weeks, and I've been doing them every week or every month since you did that talk.
That's awesome. I love it.
Isn't that crazy? So I appreciate it. I think it was really helpful.
Well, I'll just leave you guys with, continue leveling up your mindset. That's it. That's how it's going to get you where you want to go in your business. So.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this for us, and I'll see you tomorrow. Should we take a picture real quick of all of us leveling up? There we go. Now did Carrie leave? Did she leave?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Well, y'all have a good night, and thanks for jumping on, and I will see you later. Bye.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Just send me. Oh, I stopped my thing, but I didn't stop this.